What is up, guys? It is Alex Melton with Kaiju Island, and today I'm just going to do a video on like an overview, kind of halfway review, and then a comparison from the new Pacific Rim Uprising Bandai Tamashii Nations figures, Jaegers to be exact, and then the NECA Pacific Rim 1 Jaegers, which I just decided to use Crimson Typhoon for this example. So before we get started, I'll just go ahead and say that you can pick these up. These Titan Redeemer Bracer Phoenix were $30, and then Gypsy Avenger was only $20. And so you can already see that you can do some pretty cool poses with it. They're made by Bandai Tamashii Nations, which is also the line that makes SH Monster Arts, SH Figure Arts, and other anime, kind of Japanese culture figures. In the packages, you get some replacement parts for like the hands. You get a plasma cannon as well for Gypsy Avenger, as well as the sword. You can also have different hand positions, and Bracer Phoenix actually came with these turrets. You can actually remove him and just put his regular armor on. He's also got a turret on the back, but I decided to keep the turrets in because I thought they looked cool. So what I'm going to go ahead and say, just like a small rundown review, is that these figures by Bandai are awesome. They're so much better than I thought they were. They are a bit smaller than I expected them to be, but not much. Like, I mean, as a comparison, here's a NECA figure beside Bracer Phoenix, if I can just get him to stand. There's Crimson Typhoon with Bracer Phoenix. They're a bit smaller than the NECA line, but that's okay. I'll get back to Crimson Typhoon shortly. But as you can see here, I mean, the paint and the color on these guys are awesome, and just the way they feel, the feeling of the plastic, it feels nice and high quality, and it feels like it just, for some reason to me, and this is my personal opinion, they feel a lot better than the NECA figures, because the NECA figures kind of have like a weird, I don't even know how you would describe it. They have like a weird plasticky feel. It's like a mold, like a latex mold or like a vinyl, maybe. That's how that kind of feels a little bit. Which these also may be some type of vinyl, but I believe they're just plastic. And then you can see here the coloration on Gypsy Avenger is awesome. The reactor core, and it's just the posability you can do with these guys is pretty great. And then here you've got Titan Redeemer. Titan Redeemer looks cool. It's cool as well. Now, I can say, looking at it in the light, you can see kind of like a little bit of deformation in the plastic, but it's not really that noticeable. The hands also look really awesome, and they're like superposable. So if I had an extra pair of hands, I could kind of show you guys the posability, but I don't, so I'm just going to kind of wing it at this one. So you can see here that all the figures have 24 points of articulation. So you can kind of give them like a vast majority of poses, even the heads and their abdomen, as well as their torso, their legs. I mean, you can do pretty much any pose you'd want with these guys, which are, I mean, it's pretty cool. Okay, so here I have my lovely girlfriend holding the phone for me so I can actually show you guys some of the posability of these figures. So like I said, they have 24 points of articulation, and the legs move really well, actually. They can bend pretty much like a normal leg. You've also got your, and his hand fell off, so that's cool. Which is okay because they have interchangeable hands, but you've also got range of motion in the arm. You can kind of go all the way up, kind of like an uppercut. And you've also got the shoulder pads, which can move slightly. But my favorite so far right now is actually Bracer Phoenix. His bulky body style is just really nice to me. But yeah, you've got that range of motion with him. Also the same with Gypsy Avenger. You can do all sorts of crazy mess like that, but I know you don't want to anyway. You can move as well his chest to give him, different viewing. You can move his little head. He's like, ho, ho, ho. And then you can also, chwa, chwa, chwa. So with his sword. And not only does he have the sword, but like I said, he has the plasma cannon as well. You can also kind of give him a stupid pose like this. So there you go. And then same deal. They all have 24 points of articulation, so you can kind of give them pretty much any pose you'd want. And they have pretty much human-like range of motion, and they like to pop their hands off apparently, but their range of motion is pretty realistic. And then take that in comparison, move these guys out of the way real quick. If you take that in comparison to the NECA figures, the NECA figures look really nice and they're also really well detailed, but their range of motion, the arms I'd say are pretty okay, but see, this elbow only has like 2 points you can really move it. It doesn't really move as much, neither do the hands. These arms right here still have a pretty decent range of motion. The elbow is not really, it's okay, but the hands don't really have that rotation that you can do with the Bandai figures. As well as the legs, they just feel stiff. You can pose them pretty much however you want, but the Bandai figures seem like they just have a better posability and range of motion. The Bandai figures also seem to have a better center of balance, which makes it easier for them to pose however you want them. Compared to the NECA figures, I find them really clunky, and a lot of my NECA figures on my shelves are supported by other figures because they just seem to not want to stand up by themselves at all. But you can see here that Bandai really paid attention to the center of balance and how well these figures stand up, which they do with all of their Bandai Tamashii Nations line. I mean, all of them stand up pretty well, but the feet also make it way easier for them to stand up as they have wide feet. I would say I favor these figures a lot more than the NECA line, and I hope that Bandai decides to continue making the rest of the Jaegers, like Saber Athena, the other ones which appear in the film as like Obsidian Fury, other ones like that. And also, I know they're making the vinyl Raijin and the vinyl Soft V Spirit Strikhorn, but it would be cool to have them make some pretty much like SH Monster Arts figures of them as well. But you can see his goofy pose here. But yeah, I'd say definitely I favor these figures over the NECA line a lot more. But the NECA line still was nice, and NECA made a very wide variety of figures for the Pacific Rim movie, which was nice. I think Bandai, I mean, I'm a Bandai fan. I love Bandai. I love their vinyl figures. I collect mostly Bandai vinyls from Godzilla, everything, Gamera, Ultraman. So when it comes to me, I mean, I'm not trying to be biased, but these Bandai figures are really nice, as all Bandai figures are. If it was up to me, that's just my 2 cents, my personal opinion, and kind of just like a kind of good look of these figures, and kind of just like showing you guys what they're all about in case you haven't picked them up yet and you're wondering if you should. But for me, they were a definite must, and they were a lot better once I got them actually in person. Okay, so that's been it for this overview and kind of just detailed look at these figures and their articulation and their possibilities, and as well as how much their hands fall off, and just a little comparison between the NECA figures and the Bandai Tamashii Nations Jaegers. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment, and be sure to tune in to more of my videos. Later, bitches.